examine the invasion, where we discuss the occupation, where we give voice to the conquered. Blue and Black Attack presents Rise of the
Welcome. This is another episode of Invaders Spotlight. This is titled Air Raid. I am your host, DEEZE here with a fantastic panel here tonight to talk about the future of Excel and Jalen Coker. Should the Carolina Panthers draft a wide receiver at number 19? This is our last draft show before the actual 2026 NFL draft. Jake, how are you feeling about this heading into it? Good to have you here tonight.
No, I'm feeling great, man. I'm ready for the draft to get here, and I'm ready to enjoy another wonderful episode of the Invader Spotlight, man. And I couldn't ask for a better panel right now. Want to say real quick, when y'all watch this, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you have that notification bell on. But besides that, thank y'all for watching.
D-Money, I want to get you in on this conversation here on Invaders just as soon as possible. And thank you so much for being a part of this show. You had a fantastic episode of the Brotherhood last week. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was good for the heart and the soul, my friend. You have always been a fan of Excel. You have always supported that man. And I've been right there beside you in that support. I really have. I've always thought that him being a big-bodied, strong wide receiver like he is, that he would do damage in this league, but it's yet to come to fruition for the Carolina Panthers and for Excel. If the Carolina Panthers next Thursday end up drafting a wide receiver at number 19, is the writing on the wall for Excel? Does he even get the opportunity that he deserves, in your opinion, D-Money? Thank you for joining Invaders tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me. Another invasion with this great Invader squad. Yes, Deez, I still believe in Excel. And everybody's heard my opinions. I really don't want to go receiver at 19. That's just me. If we do, I'll trust Dan. But what I feel, if we do, I feel like it's going to tell me a lot. And it's going to either strengthen my belief in Xavier Legette, or I'll have to concede to how I really feel. Because you bring in another guy when you already have Jalen Coker who's taking your position. I'm assuming that we're going to be scheming up things to kind of use Jimmy Horn Jr. in a more efficient way. So that's already touches away. And he put it on himself with the lack of concentration. I think he let a lot of things get to him. I think a lot of this situation was mental and not skill. And maybe just with bringing these guys in and hearing the fan base starting to drool over these guys to bring them in. And even these guys are drooling that they got them over Jalen Coker. So you're saying that like XL wouldn't even be competing with Jalen Coker for the 2. He would be competing with 2 guys and then still competing for the 3rd. And I am a true believer that pressure makes diamonds. And I also truly believe that this NFL game and these rookies that come in is just like children in a classroom. You're going to have some children that are just more well advanced, focused, more prepared for their studies, and they're going to hit the ground running. And then you're going to have those kids that have that potential and maybe not that focus, and they just getting by because, well, there's no other options in there and they can just get by. And then you have those guys that just don't have. Well, I was flirting with the thing of that he was that child with all the potential or whatever. But if he comes out this year and the production is the same as last year or less, I kind of have to look at him as that child that Hey, maybe he needs to go to another school. But I'm hoping and I'm praying that he's putting in the work. We haven't seen him in the interviews. We haven't seen him in the interviews doing other stuff. They've been Kentucky Derby stuff or videos, anything that looked like there would be a distraction to him in the off season. All we've seen, if we did see any footage, was the man out there trying to catch some football. And I think that's what everybody said last year. Their complaint was is that he won't out there catching footballs, and then the regular season he didn't catch football. But I don't think it's a lack of skill. I just think it's concentration. He didn't always get his feet in bounds for plays, and all that stuff is just concentration. And probably got down on himself as each bad play compiled that I kept compiling. He's had an off season to depress. And yeah, his back is against the wall, the flame is against his rear end, and we're gonna see how it goes, D.
Yeah, I know. I'm concerned about it too, D Money. CALI-MIKE, let's get you in on this conversation about these Carolina Panthers wide receivers. Do you like the room of XL, Coker, and Nalo? Do you feel like the Carolina Panthers even need to draft another wide receiver, or would you roll with this room just like it is? How do you feel about it, CALI-MIKE?
If XL continues to improve, then yeah, we don't need a receiver in the first round. But then there's going to be other people out there that are going to say, oh, well, we need a receiver because of XL dropping passes. Well, mind you, that's all in the past. XL is trying to improve that he can be a liable target on this offense. And guess what? I'm all in for what D-Money just said. You know, it was his lack of concentration on his hand-and-eye coordination. And personally, for me, I wouldn't be okay with the receiver at 19. But again, that's just my opinion. But if Dan decides to go receiver in the first round, hey, I guess I can't complain because he's the one that's making the pick, not us.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm down with whatever the Panthers decide to do, Jake. But Panthers fans are locked on to upgrading this wide receiver room. It's almost become a joke. It's almost become a joke, comical, that Dan Morgan is going to draft another wide receiver in the first round. And Dan said, well, there's no rules against it. There's no reason why I can't draft a wide receiver in the first round. But tell me how you feel like it's going to impact Jalen Coker, if at all. Because I think D-Money covered XL pretty well. If we draft someone, let's say the guy we like, Omar Cooper Jr., we grab him at number 19, Jake, does that affect Jalen Coker, or is he impervious to that draft pick?
No, I think it's going to affect him. And the main reason is it's not because of talent, it's because of injuries. It's because of the games missed by Coker. I mean, that is the only downside to Coker at this point. Let's be real. I mean, it's been his injury being, 100% not healthy at times, not maybe, nutrition might not be there where it needs to be, but it's not because of talent. And if you're picking a wide receiver at 19, we was talking about XL, it certainly brings competition to that number 2 spot, not just the number 3 spot. You're drafting a wide receiver at 19 compared to an undrafted Coker. I mean, that does matter to a lot of people, and I'm not mad at Dan Morgan said that. I mean, I want us to draft the best overall player, and as much as I feel like we should go the defensive route, if they are sold on a wide receiver, I got to trust Dan Morgan and company at this point on who they get.
And damn, we trust. That's 100% fact. D-Money, this is my thing about it. If you draft a wide receiver or Kenyon Sadiq at number 19, a really great receiving tight end, it changes the dynamic of this offense in 2026. My expectation immediately goes up from where it was. Can you speak to that and say how that affects your evaluation of Bryce Young along with the rest of the now Brad Idzik offense by drafting a wide receiver that early? How do your expectations change around this?
Well, see, first of all, we already within our family in this fan base, our expectations shoot up just as quick as anything can shoot up and can crash down just as hard as the stock market back in that great collapse back in the day. All right. The thing about it is, you add another guy that people believe in. And what did we hear pretty much this all season, my brother Deez? It was either Sadiq or they were talking about one of these bevy of receivers that's out here in this draft. So these guys are already putting Bryce in a situation where like they're gonna expect Bryce Young to throw for daggum 300 yards a game. It don't
Yep.
even matter if we hand the ball off 30 times. Bryce has to have 300 yards. It won't matter if we win by 17 and 14 and have real significant wins in this league. Bryce only threw for 225. That's not acceptable. It's going to be a lot of those things. Like the people who still don't believe in Bryce Young, the people that cringe when they hear about that extension and so forth. Oh, they're gonna have this offense through just going through it with a fine tooth comb. They're gonna have the magnifying glass on it. One dude drops a pass in the preseason, he should get cut. It's gonna be a lot of overreaction. And to me personally, if the guy can come in and help the offense, it doesn't mean that we just have to have this flexy, sexy yardage type of thing. It's just, are we converting on third down? Something that we've had a hard time doing in the past, at least consistently. Or even last year, you noticed on a lot of third downs, we was at our best if Bryce took off on those third downs because they didn't expect it and they had the zone on us and our guys couldn't find the pocket. So if you got a guy that you're telling me can help get us over that third down hump, fine. But I'm also under that true belief that Jalen Coker, from what I understand, everybody was bragging about at the end of the season last year, the man don't drop pass. That's all I kept hearing. Jalen Coker, Jalen Coker. They cried for Jalen Coker while he was out. Jalen Coker came back, made big plays, then he made the play in the playoffs. Okay, I understand. Pickle was kind of disappointed in him because he came into training camp a little pudgy, a little soft, whatever, and had the little injuries or whatever. But this is a guy learning how to be in this league. I think coming into this year, his training was probably different, like Jake alluded to with the nutrition, that his nutrition is better and so forth. That we don't necessarily have to go. Like if you would have told me that we was looking at one of these receivers right here and it was in the second round, like what was left over from them guys, and maybe that's where you wanted to go, hey, take a swing at it. But we still have some key significant areas on this team that need some upgrading also. And just for my heart of hearts, I hate to break everybody's heart. I've been saying it in the chat all week. Dan has played poker with this draft. He has great poker faces. Outside of the only thing that he has integrity with is when he's talking about the state of the team. But you can't trust the daggone word that man say when when it comes to the draft. So he could just be selling us receiver talk. But if he does, I'm just going to have to trust and believe it because I don't feel like Dan stirred me wrong. But I think that this wide receiver room, with the criticism they've taken from just how everybody's drooling for these receivers, I think we should stick there. Because if you add anything that's remotely sexy that everybody wants, Bryce is going to have to throw for 300 to 350 yards a game.
I don't think you could have answered that question any better. That's exactly what I see coming down the pipe. Should we add a weapon at 19? And maybe even if we add one in the second round, D-Money, the expectations are going to go insane for a team that kind of backed into winning the division last season. Mike, let me let you sound off real quick here. Jump in this. Do you feel like Dan Morgan is throwing us a head fake by bringing in all these wide receivers? That some that are going in the first round, some that are going in the second round, some that are possibly going in the third round. You think he's really looking for a wide receiver, or do you think he's just trying to throw everybody off the trail? How are you feeling about it, CALI-MIKE?
I believe Dan might be playing a poker game with us because I feel like he might be saying, oh, we might go this direction, but really he might be thinking, oh, maybe this may not be the direction we might go. We might go into this direction instead because, you know, it is what it is, because we don't see what Dan's actually looking at unless he's trying to hide his cards away from everybody that he doesn't want anybody to know about. Or, I mean, we're just playing a guessing game at this point. We don't know what Dan's going to do. But, again, whatever happens at the end of the day. We just got to deal with it and suck it up, Buttercup. So, yeah, that's all I got to say.
Good stuff, Mike. I love it. We definitely do need to suck it up, Buttercup. Dan Morgan's taking us for a ride on this draft, just like he did last year, Jake. Let's break down some of these wide receivers for the fans. Okay, the first overall consensus, and for most people, is Carnell Tate, and then the number 2 is Makai Lemon. Now, Lemon's the guy I really like, Jake, and if one was going to fall to 19 and the Panthers wanted to draft a wide receiver, that's kind of who I want here. Would you give us kind of your thoughts about those two, and if you feel like it's even possible for them to come to the Panthers?
Well, I think Carnell Tate is 100% the best overall wide receiver in this year's draft. I mean, I know that between him and Makai Lemon as the number 1 guy supposedly in this draft, but Carnell Tate to me is 100% your X guy. Like, for real. Like, if Carnell Tate comes in as your number 2, what a day. What a day, man. Makai Lemon, though, he's very talented. I think Makai Lemon is the perfect fit for what we're trying to do. The guy that we've been needing in Carolina. Let's be honest. Makai Lemon is a dog wide receiver. He's not your typical wide receiver. I know a lot of people don't like divas. I don't know if he's a diva, but he's got some dog in him. That I do know. Makai Lemon is a dog. I love that type of attitude in a wide receiver, too. But yeah, if Makai Lemon was to fall at 19 and we pick him, you won't see me mad. You won't see me mad at all. But those two, I just don't see them falling 19. But I would love to see one of them fall 19.
Yeah, if they're going that route, that's what we would want to happen, is for Lemon to fall. D-Money, let me give you Omar Cooper Jr. and Denzel Boston. Both of these guys have been brought in by the Carolina Panthers. Certainly they could be there at 19, if not both of them there at 19. Are you feeling any kind of way about either one of those guys? And if you don't like either one of them, which wide receiver do you like at 19, if any?
I'm not moved on really either one of them. When I think of Boston, it really just makes me think like Dan Morgan has a type when it comes to wide receivers, big, tall guys. I like Cooper. I do. I think he has talent. I think he has a good skill set. But I also think about in that prolific Indiana offense that they had this year, he wasn't the best standout of the receiving room. He might have had the better athleticism and so forth, but I think Surratt was the better receiver within that offense. But Cooper did bring some big playability and some crucial catches at times. I just don't see him at 19. I don't see Boston at 19. Really, to be quite honest, the first 2 receivers you brought up, Tate and Lemon, I would realistically see like you could draft at number 19, even though I think Tate would be the guy on that end. I hear people trying to drum up the KC Concepcion talk, and don't get me wrong, I'm intrigued by him. I would love for him to be a Carolina Panther. I just don't love him at 19. He don't make my eyes twinkle for like the number 19 pick. I could understand why anyone would love Lemon, and I just don't think Tate would be at 19. So I kind of feel like if I had to give the answer, it would just be Lemon, to be real with you. I think Tate might come off the board before 19. You never know how these draft boards go. But it's hard for me to really just pinpoint who I really want, because I still believe in Xavier and I believe in Jalen. So it's kind of hard for me to just totally open my mind to the idea of one of these guys. But I would probably go Lemon if I had to pick out of the thought for number 19.
Understood. I'm with you 100%. And I forgot to mention Jordan Tyson. He's kind of the consensus overall number 3 wide receiver. Had a lot of injury problems in history in his career. It literally says on his draft profile, he has a consistent injury history. That's not good. That's not what you want to be consistent in. Mike, let me get your thoughts on the Oregon guy, the tight end, the true athletic freak, Kenyon Sadiq. How would you feel about the Carolina Panthers drafting him at 19? And would he even be there? Or is he going to get drafted beforehand? Mike, how do you feel about it?
He's shooken me to my core a couple of times by getting me worried about Kenyon Sadiq coming here. So, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, if he gets drafted, I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. But in a way, I kind of don't want to see him here at the same time, because like we're kind of like pushing the edge off of like potentially having Tommy Tremble, JT Sanders, Mitchell Evans, and all these other guys. But I mean, it depends on what kind of situations you would have to put him into to like know what his skill set is. Like, will he be able to block for the running back that well? Would he be able to like go out and catch these passes from Bryce Young? I mean, it's how you use them. Because yeah, I mean, Dan Lanning always used him in the best way possible that he's like best suited at when it came to like either running the football or potentially catching the football when he's needed to at the most times. But I'm gonna leave it at this. If we draft Kenyon Sadiq, okay, that's fine. But the situation is this: how is he going to fit into this offensive scheme?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't know if it would be a strong suit. It doesn't sound like it. Jake, let's bounce it back to you and get you to finish up these wide receivers that we've brought in. And let's just call them not number 19 picks. You know, somewhere later in the draft, whether it's round 2 at 51 or we trade up into round 2 or possibly even round 3. I'm just going to clump all their names together and let you go on them. Guys we brought in like Casey Concepcion. I know I've seen mock drafts with him at 19, but for me that would be a little later, right? Chris Bell out of Louisville. That's another guy we brought in. Another big body guy, 6'2", 220. To me, you know, he's going to be well outside the first round. It's somewhere in the second. Chris Brazzell the second, a speedster out of Tennessee. He's another guy that the Panthers have brought in. Let's lump all those together and just say after 19. Do you feel like the Carolina Panthers are looking to add somebody round 2 and round 3 in this group at all?
I think it's certainly a possibility. I mean, wide receivers has been one of the classes that we've really spent a lot of time in when it comes to visits and just the number of prospects that we met at that position. So you certainly could see us draft. We're drafting a wide receiver at some point in the draft. I just get that feel, unless there are absolutely none of the guys they've taken a look at there that are there at their pick. That's the only way I see us not taking a wide receiver.
I absolutely agree with you. Well, guys, this has been another episode of Invaders Spotlight. Let's take a moment to outline those that participated in our chat spotlight. Every Wednesday night, we put up a community post, and you can reply to that post, and then you can get your chance to be on Invaders here and your comment read on the chat spotlight. Let's give a moment to highlight those people that took the time to comment on the community post and the video last week.
Hey y'all, welcome to the chat spotlight, where every week we highlight the best Invaders comments. This week we want to shout out AJ Brooks. Mr. Brooks left a fantastic comment about how upgrading the offense at 19 affects fans' expectations for the Carolina Panthers. AJ's comment is as follows: I don't think a player in particular is going to drastically change the offense. If we do draft another first-round weapon, Bryce better be ready to drop 40 TDs next year. If not, the tides can shift so fast for a guy who doesn't have his contract in hand yet, with a rumored legendary QB class next year. Resetting the QB pay clock could be an option. Probably best to draft defense for Bryce. Thank you so much to Mr. Brooks for the thoughtful comment. You can be in the spotlight next time by just leaving a comment on this video. What weapon do you want for Bryce Young? Let us know in the comments, and thanks to everyone for all the kind words. Join us on the charge, here at the Blue and Black Attack. And go Panthers!
Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of the show. We love your comments. We read each and every one. Keep those takes coming about this Carolina Panthers draft. Like I said, this is the last Invaders Spotlight before the 2026 NFL Draft. Thank you each and every one who viewed and joined the Invaders on this episode. Jake, if you would, take us out of here.
This is another episode of the Invaders Spotlight. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have that notification bell on. And thank you as always. Keep pounding.
You know what you did.